Mr. Crowley.
I was powerless. I was like a victim here, waiting and waiting. But thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for holding this hearing today on the celebration of the 75th anniversary of, I think, one of the hallmarks of our country, that is Social Security. Just a quick story for you, and I can't help this because I think we can all relate to, I think, what we're discussing here a little better as we personalize it. We all have our own personal stories, but I come from a very large Irish Catholic family from Queens, New York, and my father was one of 7 children. One brother became a priest, his sister became a nun, 5 other children went on to have large families. I was with the smallest of those families, only 4 in our family. But my father worked up until the day he died on December 27th of 2000, and he died at 70 years of age. It's the same year, I believe, which this Congress changed the law to allow people to continue to work and receive their Social Security after 65. My dad got about 6 months of Social Security payments, I think, between the day we signed it, that was signed into law, until the day he died. He started work at age 12 at an A&P up in Maspeth, Queens on 69th Street. Many of my constituents would have known it's now a beer distributor, lumping or humping 100-pound sacks of potatoes during the war up and down from the basement up to where it was sold. And that story is not unlike, I think, a lot of people who had led similar lives, worked very hard. My dad died at 70 as an attorney, having worked for many years as a police officer before that, and a number of other jobs along the way, just like so many other people in our country have done as well. My father never, ever regretted, though, the notion of Social Security. He only got, as I said, a number of years benefit from it. He always knew that my mother would somehow benefit from it, that we as a family would benefit. He knew that his sister, whose husband was killed in an automobile accident, who left 7 children, one was killed with him, 7 children behind, all 7 of whom were under 18 years of age, that family, his sister's family, benefited from that. So he saw the beauty of Social Security beyond oneself and how we contribute in the hopes that we get back for ourselves what we put in. That's for it's for all of us and not just for the one individual who is contributing to that. And I think that's what's so unique and special about Social Security. Mr. Schreiber, I'm not parsing on particularly on you per se, but I think generally speaking, much of what I gathered from your testimony in terms of the relevance between low-wage workers relative to the pre-retirement earnings to high-wage earners. People who make more money don't need Social Security to the same degree that people who make less and in many respects more menial jobs in order to derive an income. And this is not about you, but much of what I heard you saying reminds me of this great sucking sound of people leeching off of a system at the expense of others.
Wait. Can I clarify?
I'll finish my comment.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I just think that we have to look at this in a totality, that it's not just about an individual, what we contribute towards taxes, what we do for everyone. And my father wasn't a bleeding liberal, let me tell you, by any respects. He was old school and worked very hard for everything he did, but he was a true believer that Social Security advanced our society, allowed for people who never had the opportunity to send their kids to college to not only worry about retirement, although it's still important about retirement, they could look to put more money aside so that children can benefit and go to colleges that they never dreamed they could ever afford, or go to a high school that they never ever dreamed they could afford to send their children to. So I think it goes well beyond maybe even what it was meant to do in the first place, and that would be a leg of retirement for individuals, for their families. I do want to set the record straight, though. I think Mr. Johnson had alluded to President Clinton, an attempt by President Clinton to privatize Social Security. President Clinton's idea of the USA accounts would not have privatized Social Security. It would not have invaded or raided the Social Security Trust Fund, and it did not take a single dollar away from, would not have taken a single dollar away from Social Security. In fact, Bill Clinton left our country with a multi-trillion-dollar surplus that strengthened and did not weaken Social Security as we know it today. I do know, I have very limited time, so I do know that Social Security has a surplus in the Social Security Trust Fund worth $2.6 trillion, backed up by the Treasury bonds and backed up by the full faith and confidence of the credit of the United States. I just want to turn my attention to Mr. Ross very quickly, if I could. Life cycle funds are private retirement investment vehicles offered in the private sector marketplace that people can use to save for their retirement outside of the Social Security system. They are supposed to protect investors by placing the money in safer investments as the person's savings, as the person savings and the person ages out. During the most recent economic crisis, did these private life cycle funds maintain their value, or did many retirees and those workers close to retirement see their nest eggs dry up? I have very limited time, so I'm just going to, if I could just focus on it. But aren't life cycle funds like, so they lost value, did they not?
Microphone.
But aren't life cycle funds like this, like I just spoke about, the backbone of any Social Security privatization plan being pushed by my Republican colleagues? Did the Social Security benefits for retirees decrease because of the recession, or did they remain constant?
Absolutely not. They remain constant.
If we had privatized Social Security in 2005, as many of my Republican colleagues in Congress wanted to, and still want to, would seniors and retirees' incomes have stayed constant, or would their savings would they have taken a drastic hit? And if so, how drastic?
I think the plunge in the stock market is a very solid evidence that that was a misguided proposal.
Thank you for your comments, and I yield back the balance of my time.